This watch, I got here, was first purchased by your great-grandfather during the First World War. It was bought in a little general store in Knoxville, Tennessee. Made by the first company to ever make wristwatches. Up till then, people just carried pocket watches. It was bought by private doughboy Orion Coolidge on the day he set sail for Paris. This was your great-grandfather's war watch, and he wore it every day he was in that war. He'd done his duty, went home to your great-grandmother, took the watch off in an old coffee can, and in that can it stayed. Till your granddad, Dane Coolidge, was called upon by his country to go overseas and fight the Germans once again. It's time to call it World War II. Great-grandfather gave this watch to your granddad for good luck. Unfortunately, Dane's luck wasn't as good as his old man's. Dane was a Marine, and he was killed, along with all the other Marines at the Battle of Wake Island. Granddad was facing death. He knew it. None of those boys had any illusions, but they were leaving that island alive, so 3 days before the Japanese took the island, your granddad asked a gunner on an Air Force transport named Wanaki, man he'd never met before in his life, to deliver to his infant son, we'd never seen in the flesh, his gold watch. 3 days later, your granddad was dead, but Wanaki kept his word. After the war was over, he paid a visit to your grandmother, delivering to your infant father his dad's gold watch. This watch. This watch was on your daddy's wrist when he was shot down at Hanoi. He was captured from a Vietnamese prison camp. He knew that if the Gooks ever saw the watch, it would be confiscated, taken away. The way your dad looked at it, this watch was your birthright. You'd be damned if any slope's gonna put the greasy yellow hands on his boy's birthright, so he hid it. In one place he knew he could hide something, his ass. 5 long years he wore this watch, up his ass. Then he died of dysentery. He gave me the watch. I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass 2 years. And after 7 years, I was sent home to my family. Little man, I gave the watch to you.
Bum, 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 bum. Don't play that. Uh-oh. How's it going out there, guys? Shit, I don't know if I can even, like, show an image of Marissa Tomei. We're just gonna roll with it. I love you, Marissa. She's my background for my computer. How's it going, everybody? This is The Witching Hour, and I am Tim Oceans. Welcome to The Witching Hour. You know, it just felt like the right time. It felt like it was time to do some witching. So I figured it's a new day, it's a new dawn, and let's look at some new comic books. Let's see what we got out there. You know, I really wanted to kind of like delve into the pull box system and kind of how that works and what it is for us as a store and kind of what's going on with it, because it's not as straightforward as you may think it is, and most people probably don't even know what a pull box is. And so let me start by explaining what a pull box is. I'll accept your cookies. I think, as Elon Musk said, I'll accept all your damn cookies. Like, quit asking me. I don't need to be asked. I accept them all. So I want to talk about the pull box, and one of the primary things about the pull box is, you know, for a comic book store, most of the comics, more than half of the comics that a comic book store orders are through a distributor called Diamond Publishing or Diamond Distribution, and they use a system called Previews. And Previews has been around forever, as long as like comic books that I can remember have been around. You could always order through what they call the Previews catalog, and this kind of works in conjunction with Diamond's ordering system, right? And so for a very long time, Diamond was the primary guys. They were the primary guys to buy comic books from, and this included every single publisher that there was. You had DC and Marvel, both kind of coexisting under the same branch, and then being distributed through Diamond. And so for a very long time, and we still to this day use a lot of things regarding, like with Diamond, and so. One of the main things that we use as a store and to kind of be profitable and successful as a store is the Previews system and the pull box system in general. And, it should be pretty flawless, you would think. You can just go right on here. And I didn't want to just kind of deep dive. I wanted to talk about the comics that were coming out. I figured we could kind of do both naturally, maybe. I just wanted to kind of show you guys what it's like to actually pre-order comic books, and what does it mean to kind of pre-order a comic book. And I think I've talked about this before on stream too, is you go in there ahead of time, right? And they distribute this magazine called Previews, and you can kind of see everything that's coming out a couple months ahead of time. So they're soliciting right now in April. We're in the month of April now, but these comic books are actually coming out in June. And so you're actually buying well ahead of time. You're getting preview access, sort of. That's why they call it Previews Magazine. And I think where some of the confusion is because Diamond's so big and they don't just do comic books, obviously, and they have a tremendous backstock of comic books because they've been doing it for so long. You can use Diamond almost as an ordering service, right? So you can go on this Previews world, and any product that Diamond actually carries, like you as a consumer will be able to order it through the Previews catalog. And this includes kind of some older stuff too. And so the Previews system, this pull box system, isn't necessarily just for new comics that are coming out, but that's what we primarily use it for. And I think where some of the confusion lies is, like, if you go on here, if you go into other sections other than the catalog, right, it'll allow you to order back issues. You can search for titles. You can find things that are older, and even out of print, and things that the comic book store doesn't necessarily have access to anymore. And so I've gotten a lot of customers where, they will actually add things that it's either been out of print or we don't have access to it, and to use a real good example, right? Let's take Ultimate Spider-Man, which is a super hot title. Ultimate Spider-Man #1 dropped, I guess it was 2 months ago now. And the comic's already selling for well over $100. I'm not really sure what it's at. I sold on my copies very quickly, like within the first week. I mean, probably within the first day of them being out on the shelf. And I think we sold them at cover price. But here's the thing with Previews World, right? So with a comic like that, after it's been, a couple days, I'm very likely to pull those comics off the shelf and mark them up to whatever they're selling at, if I don't sell them at first. And so if you're a pre-orderer of that comic book, right? Like, say you got in on Ultimate Spider-Man, you secured your copies at the lowest price possible just because you're a pre-order. So it really incentivizes you to utilize the pull box, and because you'll have big payoffs like that, at being a subscriber to certain lines. And using this catalog, you can kind of go through all the items and see absolutely everything that's available for the week, with the exception of DC Comics, and now my personal favorite publisher is no longer with Diamond, or at least they are in some capacity, I think, but not in the same way that they used to be. Image has also switched distribution companies, and so it really throws kind of, it throws it off, the whole ordering system, when you're going through two different distributors like that, especially on these pre-orders. Now, with regular ordering, anything that I've got to actually go in and physically like purchase, like I've got to look and see that we're missing stock or we actually need this item, there's really not a big difference at all. Like say I need a Sandman trade paperback. Well, it's there's no problem. I can just order it through Lunar because it's just a book that's in print, right? But these books that go in and out of print and then you can't get them anymore, if a customer wants something like that, well, if you didn't get in on the final order cutoff, if you didn't pre-order it ahead of time, I can't secure those copies. I'm not guaranteed that copies because the publisher didn't print enough. There was so much demand for that book that's why those copies go out of print so quickly and we can't get them anymore. Now with most comics, I would say you've got a little bit of a grace period, but on hot stuff and especially the really good stuff that everybody's going to want, there is no grace period. That stuff comes out and it just explodes. It gets hot. And Ultimate Spider-Man is such a good example because that was a comic I think I ordered, and it's so funny because I'm a big fan of Nightcrawler, right? And so they did a line where, and this is like Stupido 101, by the way, like in comic book industry land. They did a line with Nightcrawler as he was going to become Spider-Man, and I was like, oh snap! I love Nightcrawler. I love Spider-Man. Here we go. Uncanny Spider-Man. And so I went hard on it. I bought like 100 copies of it, right? And it came out, and it didn't do anything. All those 100 copies that I have, I probably sold maybe 4 or 5 of them. And so I still have, 90 copies of the Uncanny Spider-Man. But, so it kind of made me a little, I don't know what you would call it, like intrepid, I guess, about future ordering. And so I had really kind of cut it back, right? I wasn't really doing the incentives, getting the ratio variance, that kind of thing. And so when Ultimate Spider-Man rolled around, I had cut it back to, I knew it was a title that people were pre-ordering, but I had gotten so burnt on the last title that, like, to go heavy to me was no longer 100 copies. It was more like 25 copies. And so I cut it back. I cut that line down to 25 copies. And about, I would say probably at least a third of those copies were pre-order books. And so everybody who pre-orders, especially at my store, and I'm sure this is probably just a universal thing because I don't think people would do it if it wasn't. But you're always going to pay what the cover price is on the book because you pre-ordered it from me. It's like a sign of good faith, that I'm not going to mark it up on you, and you're going to get it for what the cover says, even if the book skyrockets and goes to $100 a copy, just like Ultimate Spider-Man did. So that's definitely where you want to be. You want to direct people to a pull box system. And so what's great about this Previews World thing is it handles, well, I guess 66% of the comics that you need to order, with the other 33% approximately being DC and Image. Now, it might honestly be higher than that. I mean, with Image now, I mean, it's probably closer to a 60-40, because you basically got now, it's split, right? Like you've got both major independent publishers, Boom being one and Image being the other, have both now split from the mainstream distribution, and the two main publishers are kind of with them. And so it's a really interesting time sort of in the comic book industry because there's, I don't want to call it division because there's, let's face it, there's always been division. That's why we have different comic book franchises. That's why we have DC. That's why we have Marvel. That's why we have Batman versus Spider-Man and stuff like that. That's why we have um, all the characters that we know and love, right? Because there are different intellectual properties that that these different companies own, and it's not a bad thing, that this division is sort of starting to exist. Especially, it's honestly it's a great thing because it leads to a more competitive market, which I think is ultimately going to lead to a better product. And the thing with Lunar is, who's kind of the rival, I guess you would say, to Diamond. Um, there are a lot of things that they're getting right. Their packaging is fantastic. DC has been known now for years for the actual quality of the books that they're printing, and the Image too. I've always felt like Image puts out a very high quality standard of book, and so it's kind of, while it's weird, it's not a bad thing. But like I said, it throws things off a little bit for the pre-ordering system, right? Because now you have this division. You can't go through here and select DC, and look at all the DC titles that you can say. Now you can, you can see these titles, but here's the thing, and you can pre-order them, right? Like you can totally look at them and you can totally pre-order them, and this is where it gets funky, right? You as a consumer don't see it, right? Like you hit this little pre-order button and it goes right into your cart. Now, because there's two different distribution chains, I have to then look at it and go, okay, this guy pre-ordered this and it's in the system as a pre-order, but I have to order it from somewhere else. And so it makes it just, especially when you're dealing with, I've gotten my pull box numbers up to somewhere like close to 30 people now. And there are some stores that do it much bigger than that. I mean, Midtown, is probably one of the biggest examples where they're just doing hundreds, if not thousands, of pre-orders for different customers, mind you. And just the split, right, with 30 customers, it can just kind of boggle the mind because you're clicking around between multiple things and it's like, oh, did this guy order this? Okay, go over, check over here. Okay, they still got that. And so it makes you manage your time with this stuff and really think about it a lot, And when you have multiple people working for you that are kind of like in charge of different things, getting everybody on the same page about how to kind of handle that split, it can be a little bit tricky. It can be a little bit off. And like I said, with the normal day-to-day ordering, it doesn't really change a darn thing. Like it doesn't affect me or our store in some kind of negative way. It really doesn't. But on this particular subject, like the pre-order side, it definitely, there's, I've spent probably the last 6 months trying to come up with a system that kind of integrates both. So it's not so convoluted on the ordering side. But it's still, to no avail. And I'm going to go over some of those things in this video. I'm going to show kind of what I'm talking about. But anyway, we'll come back to all that and, kind of the division in the two distributors and, why it can be a problem for the comic book store. But anyway, I mostly, I do this for funsies. And so one of my very favoriteest things in this whole wide world of sports is to look at new comics that are coming out. I just like the art. I love the artists, I love the industry, and I love the art. And so to see them, new ones all the time, that's really why I do this now. And it's always a lot of fun. And so let's take a look at some comic books. We've got the freaking 20th restart of Berserker. Let's take a peek. So it's Berserker. It's the guy that looks like Keanu Reeves. I'm not really sure why. Because I haven't read it, right? But I'm assuming these must all just be self-contained stories that kind of have a beginning, middle, and end, and that's why there's so many number ones. They're just little one-shot spin-offs. But if that's the case, like you don't necessarily have to call it number one if it's always going to be a new thing. You could call it Berserker Face Full of Bullets and be done with it because it's the whole thing. It's not like there's going to be a number two. It's like maybe you go volume 2 or something. I don't know. All I know is this is about the 20th restart of Berserker so far. It was really interesting when this came out 5 years ago. And I think as a consumer, as someone who has bought multiple lines of Berserker, never opened one of them, I think we're getting a little played out on Berserker. I still like the art. Obviously, Keanu Reeves is awesome. And these stories may just be that good. I don't really know. I could be talking shit. But, man, we're writing a lot of Berserker. And so if it's truly that great, let's get a continual line. Let's just do Berserker, whatever. Like number 1 through 1,000. Let's go to 1,000 issues here. I was kind of talking about that earlier. It's so frustrating that these lines constantly get rebooted and restarted, and you slap a new number 1 on it and you package it and you sell it, and people buy it because people love number 1s. And it's like it's not predatory. I don't think anybody's taking advantage of anybody because it's like you're just offering it as the publisher or whatever, and the consumer's buying it. But why? Like, why can't we just have a continual line, and then you'll actually see, you'd see actual interest in these characters develop over long periods of time. But it's I don't know. There's seemingly a lot more spin-offs and one-shots these days than there are lines that have been going for a very long time. And even with the lines that have been going for a very long time, let's use Spider-Man as an example. That's on volume 8 or something. They've restarted that one too 8 times now. And so that in and of itself is frustrating. And trying to explain a legacy number to someone who knows nothing about comics, hey, is this Spider-Man number 1? No, that's actually 893. That's and then they go, what? What does that mean? And why can't you just have Spider-Man, issue 1000 and not have Spider-Man volume whatever number 1 again? It's just kind of I don't know. It wears thin after a while, but I guess that's kind of the industry that I signed up for. We're just trying to sell books to people. That's all we're trying to do is get these stories out there. And so, hey man, if slapping a number 1 on a comic book helps it to sell and gets people to read it, I'm not opposed to it. I'm really not. It's just kind of oh my god, here we go with another number 1. So yeah, Berserker, Face Full of Bullets, number 1. Very cool. On to the next thing. This is what's that guy's name, right? He's a very popular artist. Frazetta, maybe? It's a homage, right? It's interesting that it doesn't say it, but it's an homage to a classic fantasy artist, I believe. Yeah. He used to do these really detailed paintings of nude women and demons and dragons and fantasy warriors and stuff. And that dude riding on a horse right there, I think in the original painting it's a knife, he's a knight. What's that guy's name? Frazetta, right? I let's see. Frank Frazetta? Yeah, this guy. Frank Frazetta. yeah, this guy's a legend, right? Like, he's been around forever. Frank Don Frazetta, born 1928, passed away 2010. Wow, that sucks. American artist known for themes of fantasy and science fiction. Yeah, and some of his stuff is really great. So he actually did comic book work. That's awesome. Famous Funnies, Buck Rogers, 1953. That's killer. But yeah, I was kind of hoping to show some of his work. Frank Frazetta. Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. That's what the homage is to. And so, very, very freaking cool. The history of Frank Frazetta. Man, I was just trying to kind of show this picture. Let's see what we got here. Man, it does not want to just show me that picture. It's like taking me to some weird link. There we go. Well, that's a little bit bigger. So yeah, there you go. You can totally see it. There's the homage to Frazetta there. Yeah, very cool. Gotta love Keanu Reeves, man. You really do, right? Like, he's beloved. He's beloved by my generation, at least. I feel like Keanu Reeves is beloved. So what else we got? We've been talking about Berserker for a handful of minutes. Lawful #1. New #1. Little tiger lady. Magical meets modern. Alright. Imperfection breeds monstrous consequences. So it kind of sounds like it's got a little Saga vibe to it. You know, Saga is probably one of the greatest independent comic books ever written. Brian K. Vaughan, Fiona Staples. You know, it's cool to kind of see. It'd be cool to see, like, Boom kind of have their own little Saga line going. Saga is a masterpiece, and so that's a lot to kind of keep up with. And I'm not saying this is a Saga thing. I'm just saying, like, it kind of gives me that vibe, you know. And that's kind of also the imperfection breeds monstrous consequences. I don't know. It just gives me that futuristic kind of thing. Yeah, looks cool. Definitely, probably getting like 5 or 6 of them, if I had to guess. Oh, another. That was Lawful #1. Have another cool cover here. I kind of prefer. I like the lizard guy. That looks pretty cool. Okay, so we got Profane. Looks like a murder mystery kind of thing in Los Angeles. So maybe like a noir murder mystery kind of thing. You know, this is all about content, and you know, usually, like, if a murder mystery thing is really good, people probably like it. I will probably sell out of it, and it could go to like $10 or something. And if it's not very good, it won't do much, and it'll just sit on the shelf for a while and make its way into the bargain bin one day. But we shall see. I always pick up the crime thrillers because I'm a sucker for them. It looks cool. Love the art. Like, that is a fantastic cover. Who is Deodato? Or Deodato? Deodato? I don't know how to pronounce your name. Deodato. Love the cover, man. Love the art. It's fantastic. House Slaughter. I heard Tynion handed off. Yeah! He handed off House of Slaughter to this guy. Tate Rumble. New writer for House of Slaughter. I'm probably a couple issues late on reporting that news, but at least I reported it. And so, yeah, new writer, House of Slaughter. Seems to be going strong. I really, really, really like. So I think it's really cool that he handed this off to a new writer, because to me it seems like he feels like he's kind of developed this universe enough to kind of share it with somebody. And so, very cool, like, especially writing a main, you know, part to that little universe. It's pretty awesome. You know, I'm curious if, like, because there's a comic coming out for Free Comic Book Day. Let's look it up, shall we? FCBD 2024. It's called The World of James Tynion. There it is. Yeah, and so that's it. That's called The World of James Tynion. And so this got me thinking when I saw this cover. I wonder if all his stuff is like interconnected, right? Like, is it like Tarantino, Kevin Smith kind of thing, where like they're all set in the same universe, like happening at the same time? Because that's cool. But yeah, The World of James Tynion. I'm sure this is going to be a really hot book on Free Comic Book Day. Tynion's still the boss, you know. He's still the king of comics right now. And so I'm sure this is going to be one of those titles that you just give a ton of books away. I don't know who a lot of these characters are. You know, I know who Erica is, and that's about it. But it's very cool. I think it's awesome. Killer cover, right? I think it's like the guy from Wind. There's a title called Wind that he does. Yeah, and so very cool. Celebrate 10 years of anniversary with James Tynion, iconic run of horror classics. Very cool, man. Yeah, this is one issue that fans will not want to miss, and so I don't think you're gonna want to miss it. Little James Tynion for you. Very cool. Super into it. Bought probably like 50 of these to give away. Yeah, just going to hand them out all day. Free Comic Book Day. Go to your local comic book store on Free Comic Book Day. They would love to see your face there. They're not a bunch of termites, as Walt Flanagan once put it. These people, it's going to be awesome. Everybody is going to have so much fun that day. I hope that you come out and enjoy all the festivities. I hope that your local comic book store is doing some Free Comic Book Day festivities, participating in them, and because we certainly will be. It's basically, for me, it's kind of like Christmas meets your birthday. I don't know. You get free cool gifts, and everybody comes, and like all your friends come and hang out, and it's a big party, and it's awesome, and it's basically like the greatest day that's ever been invented. And so, yeah, Free Comic Book Day. I love it, and you should too. Put it on your calendar. National holiday. Just saying. Free Comic Book Day for life. Let's go. All right. And, yeah, so back to the list of books we have. You know, I don't... One thing I'm not... Oh, it does. Never mind. I love how it shows you the name of the artist here. That's great. So Dell's still doing covers for House of Slaughter. It'll be interesting to see if he moves on, too, to you know, back to just Something's Killing or other titles or whatever it may be. He's doing the cover B, so he might be setting up that way. Who knows? More House of Slaughter variants. This one's pretty cool. I love that. That's great. I like the tree in the background. Very neat. All right, what else we got? Amory Wars. Yeah, Amory Wars reboot, man. I would be buying the shit out of this. I think it's a great speculation. If it didn't make me so damn sad, I would buy the hell out of this. I think it's a great book. The writer's really good. The story's pretty good, and you should buy it. I don't want to talk about it much because it makes me sad, but it's good. It's good stuff. You should read it. I recommend it. And it looks like it's getting dope as hell right here. So go check it out. Go read the Amory Wars. And we can move on with our lives. Animal Pound. Animal Pound looks cool. And I want to just say, I've been eyeing this cover the whole time I've been talking to you guys. That's awesome. That's such a cool cover, man. Come on. Shimizu, very traditional Japanese scary dog thing. Very, very cool, man. What else we got? Blow Away number 3. I don't think I'm getting Blow Away. I am getting Briar. Very cool covers. Cool little line coming out. More Boom stuff. Lots of Boom stuff, man. Crocodile Black, number 2. Love the imagery here. This is a great cover. It's got a little Wolverine vibe going on to it there. This is really cool, man. Have not. I think I got the number 1s. I usually do. But for some reason, I don't remember it. And this just kind of stands out to me as being very cool. So hopefully it's a good line. Yeah. Interesting. Rotting corpses, living space, life possessions. A lot going on there in Crocodile Black, but it looks cool as hell, so wish him luck. Got Ghost Lord and Grimm. Grimm sells really well. I sell multiple copies of this issue every single week, so it must be pretty darn good. Boom's really competitive, man. Like, they've got some great writers writing for them. They've got great artists doing covers for them and interiors for them. I love what Boom's got going on. It's the BAM. It's the BAM. It's the Boom, right? There you go. I Heart Skull Crusher. This got hot. Man. I'm definitely ordering more I Heart Skull Crusher. I wonder if that's Skull Crusher. Could be. It's okay. I feel like that's an homage. I just don't know who it's an homage to. But it looks cool. Maybe it's not. Labyrinth. Yeah, Labyrinth is back. Labyrinth is always... It's, you know, it's been pretty good to me over the years. You know, I'm not saying always buy Labyrinth, but I think these comics, you know, I've sold them, I feel like, especially in the store, generally they've gone up over time. And so, and I've certainly sold a lot of copies of it. And I feel like about once, twice a year, I'll have somebody come into the store and be like, you got any Labyrinth comics? And I'm like, maybe. Usually I do. I got one hiding in the back somewhere. And I, for some reason, maybe it's just the store, but I feel like I had like a bunch of variants that were, maybe they were ratio variants or something like that. But, yeah, Labyrinth. Good stuff. Very cool. Old Bowie. That's a great cover, by the way. I love this cover. Palmer. It's very 70s, right? Like, that's just it's got such a cool look to it. Yeah. Looks like there's, I don't even know. It's really neat. Man's Best. I feel like I'm slowing down on that line a little bit. Mighty Morphin, always going strong. Always buying Mighty Morphin. Always selling Mighty Morphin. Yeah, it's great. Rare flavors. This line hasn't done a whole lot off the shelf, but I'm still getting it. Ranger Academy Black Sketch Blank variant. That's pretty cool. Oh man, sorry guys, I like blanked out there for a minute. I got a lot going on, man. A lot rolling around in the old noodle. Yeah, that's a cool cover, man. I love the art. It's killer. Rom V, huh? Yeah, Rom V's good. Something's killing. What could it be? Man, I feel like people always think that it's like her. They think she's the one killing the children. She's not the one killing the children. She's trying to save them, man. She's the savior. She's the good guy. Love this Frisson cover. How dope is that? Back to the chainsaw, bro. Gotta love that chainsaw, man. Got to love that imagery. It's cool as hell. She's back. And she's bloodier than ever. Got the little gold foil stamp. Gotta definitely get some of those. Very freaking cool, man. I love how like Erica's like not like her character's not like sexualized like really at all. Like you don't see like hot girl covers for like Erica Slaughter. Now I mean, say Frissen's incredible, you know, but you don't see that style that I don't know what you would call it, but like the sexier sort of style. You know, Erica just looks like she will whoop your ass. And I think that's dope, man. I like that they draw her that way. I saw a couple really cool Erica Slaughter cosplays at MegaCon. That was awesome. Oh man, what else we got? Uncanny Valley. Don't think I'm getting that one. Wow, that was all the Boom comics, so that was pretty quick. DC action. Got the cover A. Let's check out what this looks like. That's pretty cool, man. I like the cover. Jimenez, yeah, man. He's got some talent for sure. Very, very cool line work. What else we got? The Hob. That's awesome. That looks really, really cool. I love that background there. Action Comics, you know, hanging in there. We're at issue 1066 and going strong, not going anywhere. Love the Pride cover. Super cool, man. Yeah, the little rainbows, those are dope. Got another Jimenez. Batman, once again, always good. Ooh, I like that. I like how he's drawing Batman there. It looks freaking cool. Very pointy. Kind of McFarlane-esque, honestly. Like I like the smile. It kind of reminds me of like the Wolverine painting behind me. Yeah, super cool. Love that. Batman's always strong. You know, like the lines are pretty consistently good. They've been going, you know, for a bazillion issues. And I got no complaints. Covers are always awesome. Like I feel like they always push the coolest covers on Batman. Like I find myself like buying variants for DC, knowing damn well they're probably not going to go up just because they look cool. You know, and I would say that most of these covers are great. Yasmin Putri. Love that, man. That is sick, dude. Lee. It's pretty cool. Kind of classic. Another Jimenez. I guess Jimenez just does all the covers for Batman. I don't know. He's doing a lot of them. Delato. That'll be kind of cool to see that one when it comes out because he's the guy that does Something's Killing. What else we got? Batman and Scooby-Doo. Batman and Scooby-Doo. You know, I don't know if it's just a good kid-friendly line. I sell a ton of them. I always have. I sell them right off the shelf. It's a great line. They reboot it once a year, and I buy more of them. And Batman Scooby-Doo. It's always been good to me. So I would say if you buy Batman Scooby-Doo, it'll be good to you too. We have Batman 89. Pretty cool. Like the cover. Yeah. Some more Batman. It is kind of like saturation though. There is a ton of Batman stuff, and especially like with the multiple SKUs, like the multiple covers. Like, I mean, we've gone from here, the first row of DC. We're on the third, and we're not done yet. We're now on the fourth row, and I don't think we're quite done yet. So we got Batman and Robin. This is a cool cover. probably will be very cool. Great time of the year for this book to come out, right in the middle of baseball season. Um, I usually I feel like I miss out on a lot of baseball collectibles because I'm not a huge baseball fan. And I always notice that they go up. You see like the trend because I'm there's plenty of baseball fans. Like people love baseball, and a lot of collectors especially like baseball. And it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of Batman fans like baseball. And so I would say this cover's probably going to be pretty hot. It's a good time of year for it to come out too, June. Let's see, more Batman and Robin. Pretty cool. He's giving him like the, what is that? That's the fastball special. Yeah, it's like a freaking Wolverine and Colossus in X-Men, man. That's awesome. Love it. Fastball special. That's killer, though. I love the art. Gilliam March. That's like half the witching hour or more, right? Is like me just saying, oh, I love this art. This art is great. I like half the freaking covers. Yeah. I really do, though. I truly appreciate the art that people do for these things. Still in Batman. I think that is... Oh, no. Batman and Howard. Okay. Little kid-friendly line from DC. It was funny. I was having the conversation the other day. How I feel like I would almost... And I hate to even kind of say it now, but like I would almost always direct a young customer, like a kid, to the Marvel shelf because I feel like Marvel stuff is friendly, and I wouldn't necessarily do the same for DC because I just feel like it's a little bit more adult. And DC is not like, while they can be harsher and grittier, they're probably about the same. As far as maturity level of content. I think that if you can understand Peter Parker's Uncle Ben dying, you can kind of understand Batman's parents dying and knowing why he does the things he does. And there were more mature lines in general in both of them. But I guess my point was, I just feel like most of the lines for Marvel are that way. They are more kid friendly. They're kind of like family friendly. Like anybody could read a Marvel novel no matter what the age and get the same level of enjoyment out of it. Whereas if a kid's reading some of the DC stuff, I just don't quite see it as kid friendly. I'm probably just dead wrong about that. I just maybe think like maybe it's like Batman's like a little bit darker. Like he's got like, it's a little scarier sort of than Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man kind of always wins, and like you always know that he's the hero, and like it's gonna work out for him in the end. Like Batman, it's kind of like up in the air, right? It's like, he's not really a hero. He's a vigilante. He's not hailed quite the same way as Spider-Man is. He's not necessarily like, he's more like the Punisher sort of like, and B, like, he just, not that they don't, both solve, it's funny that they both solve their problems with violence, which is like not what you should do, but it's more about like, they put bad guys in their place kind of thing. Batman is more harsh. But it's funny. It's because like Batman has this code, right? Like, I can't kill anybody. I never kill anybody. Spider-Man like kills like the woman he loved the very most. Like, and so like he understands like death is like inevitable sort of to Spider-Man. Like he wouldn't do it unless he absolutely had to. Whereas like Batman's just like, oh no, I can never kill the fucking Joker. Whereas like Spider-Man's like, he's vanquished some of his foes. He's sent him down the old dirt nap route, and so I don't know. It is funny. It's kind of like the juxtaposition. Maybe it's not actually Marvel that's so kid friendly, but I don't know. They're both probably fine. DC's obviously actively making comics for kids. Marvel's doing the same thing, It's just funny. I was just sitting there and I was kind of talking to the manager who works for me, and I was saying to her like, I would almost recommend every Marvel book off the shelf to any age, with a handful, like with the exception of Deadpool and a handful of others. Whereas like I can't quite say the same thing about DC, but I probably could. I mean, you probably could. It's probably not that bad, really. But yeah, little kid title there. So that's me ranting about kid comics. Kid comics. We got the Gaslight, Gotham Gaslight, or no, it's not Gotham by Gaslight. It's just Gotham. Oh no, it is Gotham by Gaslight. Okay, I thought Gotham was just gaslighting you, right? Very cool. Jack the Ripper. So it's gonna be Batman versus Jack the Ripper. That seems like a hot book. I might get in on that, man. That seems pretty cool. Little throwback story. And it looks like they're going to do a bunch of cool covers. Love that, man. Who is that? I don't know who the artist is. I don't know who that is, but I love it. It's great. That's pretty cool. Batman with the cloak and the collar. I dig that, man. Serdsy. Dude, Serdsy is cool, man. I really dig this guy's art. And like his stuff's hot too. Like it sells pretty well. As far as like the variant covers go, that kind of thing. Does pretty well. I think he's a good artist. Got a great look in the face, Just nails that face. It's great eye. Those and usually covers with Batgirl and Supergirl tend to do pretty well. Pretty good odds. A lot of good things going for this cover. If it was the cover A, it'd be even better, right? That's cool looking. Dan Mora. Very trippy. Batman Brave and the Bold. I mean, we are still on Batman titles. That's wild to me. Blue Beetle, pretty hot right now. I'm into it. Nakayama. Yeah, man. David Nakayama. Always great. I feel like he is steadily getting better and better. It's like every time I see this guy, I think to myself, man, he sure is good. It's a great cover. Love it. Love the background is killer. Foreground's awesome. Love me some DNA. Let's check out some Sweeney Boo. She has such a unique style. Like her faces are so almost Disney-esque. The way she does things, it's just like it's cute, but like kind of harsh at the same time. Like I love it. I really dig her style, man. Sweeney Boo's a tremendous talent, underrated. Yeah, she's great. And the doves, come on, man. The doves in the foreground, the little, what do you call that? The absence, negative space. That's great. Love that. Blue Beetle, always cool. Blue Beetle's selling good. That's a lot of these titles are just good in their content, and I mean, there's banger covers. The content's good. The only gripe I have with with DC at all is just the amount. Like I feel like they print a ton of covers, which everybody does now. We're as much at fault for buying them as they are for printing them. So it is what it is. The covers are great. I just wish that they were fewer or more special. Make variants special again. Make them special again. They used to be so cool, man. They used to be like rare, and that's what made them awesome. Now they're everywhere, and it's not the content, because the content is freaking great, dude. Like, the artists that are drawing this stuff are so tremendously talented. I mean, these people come out and just put out bangers. Like, and it's not that. I'm not complaining about what you're putting on the book, because I love it. You know, that's kind of why I do what I do. But man, I wish there were fewer, for sure. Crisis on Infinite Earth, very cool. Probably a big key issue. Not real sure. I was never a really big DC fan, so I'm not exactly sure what this is, but I do know this. Facsimiles have been doing extraordinarily well for me. I basically buy every single one that comes out now. And specifically blank facsimiles that are a key issue. Like, say, I don't know, as an example, Amazing Spider-Man 300. I think that they did a blank facsimile of that not too long ago, but if they were to do a blank facsimile of it, it's like buy a ton of them, because those are the kind of books that people are going to want to take to a convention to get remarked by an artist, or, you know, have a commission put on the comic book by an artist. And so, you know, those tend to be the facsimiles, you know, that are blank, that have good content, like that are key issues. They tend to be good and valuable even. I've seen several that have gone up in price just as the blank variant, and especially over time. So don't sleep on the blanks. Definitely, you need to get your blanks in. Get your blanks in. Get them while you can. Do what you can do. Get your blanks in. DC Pride #1. Cool cover. I love me some Harley, man. She's great. Any other cool DC Pride covers? I missed out on, like, okay, not my bag, but the art is cool. I think the art is well done. Talaski, I like it. What else we got? We have the Babs Tar foil variant. Love this, by the way. This is going to be a hot book. it's well, it's already at $11.99. There's a lot of reasons why this could be a really hot book, but yeah, that's a cool one for sure. I would get in on it. Rachel Pollock. Huh. Kind of cool. Oh, wow. Jim Bartel. Bro, get the Jim Bartel. Come on. That's, yeah, that's going to be a hot book, too. Wow. Some really, really great Jim Bartel covers. Yeah, that's awesome. We got Detective Comics. Always a good one. Got the Flash. Looks awesome. All right, gotta check out my girl Harley now. I love the Sweeney Boo cover. It's great. Classic Harley. She does Harley really well. Lyrics, really cool. Cool content. Love that. Really creepy. Very, very creepy. This one looks cool. I had to lean up in my chair. Just interesting, right? Like, I like the face. I like how she kind of looks deranged, you know? Like, that's a cool look for Harley Quinn. You don't get that enough. It's like you get the sexy Harley Quinn a lot. Or the cartoon Harley Quinn a lot. But, like, the deranged, like, crazy Harley Quinn. Like, that's a good Harley Quinn. Love this, man. It's really cool. Scott Forbes. Very, very cool take on that. John Constantine, Hellblazer. Love me some Hellblazer. Probably buying this. Mad Magazine, Facsimile, blank. Pretty cool. My Adventures with Superman. Another cool Superman line. Nightwing, always hot. Kind of a cool cover. He's got like a little dog. Outsiders. The Penguin. Oh, that Poison Ivy cover is killer. Come on. That's dope. Yeah, I love that. Wow, Bachala, my man, that is just something else. Ooh, another great Poison Ivy cover. Ooh, that's that same guy, right? Scott Forbes. He's got an interesting way of drawing faces, man. I like that look. It's very unique. I love when something's different, you know, when it sticks out, it's different. It's like that's kind of the stuff that appeals to me. Some of these Power Girl covers can be good, really good sometimes, but these not really my bag. That one's pretty cool. Kind of anime-ish, but very cool, very Art Jeremy. Red Hood. Red Hood been picking up, man. Not sure why. Shazam, supposedly, I haven't read it, but it's supposed to be, my buddy's reading it. He says it's really good. It's a great cover. That's killer. Shazam. I like it. The Squad, Suicide Squad. Some Superman. The Boy Wonder. The Boy Wonder. Wonder Woman. Totino. Jimenez. Zatanna. Okay, so they're rebooting Zatanna, right? I wish I could see the art germ. You know, I guess I'm probably just going to buy in good faith that the foil art germ is probably a pretty good investment. Art germ's usually pretty solid, man. Yep, new facsimile. They're reprinting a lot of Spider-Man ones. ASM 51. What is this? This issue is so shocking and troubling. I can't even show you the cover. Okay. Uh-oh. I wonder what's going down in 52, huh? Sounds like some trouble could be on the horizon for old Spidey. Hey, well, I think I'm going to wrap this up, and I think I'm probably going to do a part 2 to this video because there's still some things I want to talk about for the pull box, but I've done my hour. It's getting late. I'm trying to go to bed earlier, and it's about time to start winding down a little bit. I am going to do a part 2 to this episode, hopefully tomorrow night, so we can still stay active on the same week for the final order cutoffs. And yeah, so very cool. We didn't get to quite as much as I wanted to get to, but it's gonna work out. It's gonna be pretty awesome. And so yeah, can't wait to pick up where we left off tomorrow. And I appreciate you joining me for this newest installment of the Wishing Hour. This is issue number 8, and I hope that I can provide some people with some insight into the industry. I work in it every day. I plan to spend the rest of my life doing it as long as I can, anyway. Yeah. So let's get it. We'll hopefully pick this back up tomorrow. This was also kind of another tester episode. I know I've done like about 8 bajillion of these throughout the 3 years I've been doing this. But I got a new system, and it seems to be up and working fine. We're going to review the footage, make sure everything worked great, and we'll hopefully be back live tomorrow. I hope to see you next time on